going to continue on with finding the surface area and volume today. So yesterday we did the surface area of a prism, and then we actually found the surface area of a prism down here. Today what we're gonna do is we're gonna find the surface area of a pyramid, and I believe I had you guys write this, but when we have a pyramid, it's always going to be a square. So you can always assume that that base is a square. Okay, so when you do the perimeter of it, you can go 4 times one of the sides, okay? And capital B is the area of that base, which you could either go side times side or side squared. So that's how we find P and B for the pyramid. Now I talked yesterday about how in a pyramid there are 2 heights. There's one that goes from the tip of the pyramid to the center of the bottom of the pyramid, and it's perpendicular to that. That is called H. That straight up and down height is called H. Then you have a height that's slanted, that's actually on the face of the pyramid side, and that is called the slant height, and we use a cursive L for that. Brooklyn, I think I marked you absent for some reason, so remind me to switch it, okay? Then when we look at a cone, we're gonna find that the cone has the same 2 heights. So we have the straight up and down height that's perpendicular, that's H, and then we have a slanted height that's like a cursive L, that is our slant height, okay? So, are you guys okay not doing another prism one? Like, did a prism make sense to you yesterday? Okay, so let's go to our next page then, right here. And we're gonna do a pyramid, and I copied the formulas from your cheat sheet right here, okay? So, when we do a pyramid, we assume it's always a square pyramid. So whenever you have a pyramid, you assume it's a square base. So that bottom base has all 4 congruent sides, and they're all 6, okay? So when I go to find the perimeter of that, the perimeter is just gonna be 4 times 6, or you could go 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6, and that is 24. So that's our perimeter. Now that's something I don't need you to show work for, but I want you to write it down, okay? Now, when we go to find the area of that base, these are all equal, so you can think of that as side squared, or you could just do it as 6 times 6, whichever you like better. But, so this would be 6 squared, and 6 squared would be 6 times 6, which is 36, and that is our capital B, okay? Now that I know those 2, I can go ahead and start figuring out my perimeter, or my surface area. So surface area of a pyramid is 1/2 or 0.5 times the perimeter times the slant height plus the area of the base, okay? Now, we always are gonna have 2 heights. The straight up and down one like the 4 is our H, the slanted one is our L, okay? So they're always gonna give you those two. So when I go to do this, I would suggest you use 0.5 instead of a half. The perimeter is right down here. That's 24. The L is this 5. And then the area of the base is this 36. Okay? So we have 0.5 times 24. Our L is 5 plus the area of our base is 36. Okay? Now, when we go to do this, we go 0.5 times 24 times 5 plus 36, and that you can go right to your calculator to do. So if I go 0.5 times 24 times 5 plus 36, I get 96. And this is surface area, so it would be in centimeters squared. Okay. Now, the last thing that we have to do is volume. And volume is 1/3 capital B times H. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you guys how to do a fraction. Does everyone have a calculator right now? Or could you get up and grab one, please? I do have two graphing ones here, if anyone needs to borrow. Okay, so I'll talk about how to put this in your calculator in a second, but I think you all have been in math classes before that when it's 1/3, you just use 0.33 to estimate it. And you can do that. It doesn't give you a super accurate answer, especially as your numbers get bigger. So what I'm gonna do is show you how to put 1/3 into a calculator so that you always have the exact answer. So I'll talk about that, but basically we're gonna do a parenthesis and we're gonna go 1 divided by 3 parentheses, okay? Then capital B is again this 36. And then the height, if you look up here, the height is right here, okay? So the height is 4. So regardless if you have a graphing calculator or a non-graphing calculator, when you type in a fraction, we're gonna go parenthesis 1 divided by 3 parenthesis, and that is 1/3 exactly in your calculator, okay? Then you're gonna go times B is 36 times 4, and you would get 48, okay? I know some of the smaller calculators actually have a fraction key too. The reason I'm showing you this way is so that you guys get used to it in case you're using a graphing calculator. And then also, some of the graphing calculators like yours do have a fraction key too, but not all of them do, so that's why I generally don't show it that way. So this is 48 and it's volume, so it'd be centimeters cubed. So after seeing that, do you guys think you know how to do pyramids? Is that okay? Now, in my opinion, the last two that we're gonna do are the easiest ones because the formula looks yucky, but once you get everything substituted in, you just punch it all in your calculator and you're done, okay? So, when you have a cylinder, you are going to have a radius and a height. And when you notice here, The radius is gonna be half of the circle base. So this was your radius here. What if they give you the diameter and you
That's
needed the radius?
You just divide by 2.
Divide it by 2. If they gave you the whole diameter, you'd have to divide it by 2. Okay? Then this is the height of your cylinder. So that one's kind of laying on its side, but it's how tall it is. Okay? Now I'm going to just write down the formula. 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. Okay? Now I'm going to go 2 pi. My radius is 6. My height is 18. So I'm just substituting them in, plus 2 pi, and then my radius again is 6, and I have to square that. Now, regardless what calculator you have, you can type that into your calculator all at once, okay? So, here's what you're gonna do. 2 times pi, do you guys remember how we found pi before? On the smaller calculators, it's on the left-hand side, 4th down, I think, or 3rd. On the graphing, you go second and then this up arrow to get pi, times 6 times 18 plus 2 times, and we need pi again. So we're gonna go second up arrow for this. You're gonna find the pi key on the left side, and then it's times 6 squared. So I'd go 6, and then you should have an x squared key on the left here to do, and then enter. Did you guys get 904 point something? Okay, so do you guys agree if I rounded to 2 places, it would be 904.78?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is 904.78 feet squared. Okay, then we're going to find the volume. The volume is, I'm going to write that. Usually the volume is even easier to find. So it's pi r squared h. So we're going to go pi. The radius is 6. The height is 18. Okay? So I am going to look here, and what we have is second up arrow for pi times, and then you're going to go 6 and then your x squared key times 18. And did you guys get 2035.75? So 2035.75, and this is volume, so it's feet cubed. Okay. Now we're gonna go down and listen or do the last one. This is kind of like a smushed cone, but this really, it's kind of a bad picture, but this is a circular base, so that is a cone, okay? The 15 is our radius, and then we have to determine about which heights we have. Is the 8 our perpendicular height? And it is. So would that be our H or our L? H, so this is H. And the 17, what's our symbol for that? L. It's like a cursive L, okay? So now let's write our formula down. S equals pi r times the slant height plus pi r squared. Okay, so we're gonna go pi, our r is 15, our slant height is 17 plus pi, and our radius is 15 squared. Okay, now again, we can type that right into our calculators. So I can go pi times 15 times 17 plus pi times 15x squared. Did you guys get 1,507.96?
Yeah.
Okay, so 1,507.96, and that is square units if it's surface area. Okay, now we have one last thing. We have to find the volume. Okay, so volume is 1/3 pi r squared times h. So again, when you do 1/3, you're gonna go parenthesis 1 divided by 3 parenthesis times your pi key. The r is 15. It's the radius of your circle, and we have to square that. And then we need the h, the straight up and down height, which is 8. Now we're gonna type that into our calculator. So we'd go parenthesis 1 divided by 3 parenthesis times pi times 15x squared. And did you guys get 235.62? Is that what you guys got? Yes, no? Did you get a different answer?
You didn't have the A.
Oh, I don't have the H because I didn't see it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just had my thing. So it should be 1 divided by 3 parentheses times pi times 15 squared times 8. I just had that 8 covered up. Does that look better?
Yeah.
1884.96.
Yeah.
And then volume is cubic units. So it's going to be inches cubed. Okay? All right. Now, your assignment for today is to do a worksheet, and it's on Schoology, okay? So I'll go there and kind of open it up and explain it. So we're on week 5 snapshot, and if we open up the worksheet for today, I just kind of want to show you a couple. So first of all, always look in the upper right-hand corner as to which ones to do. But, let's see. For this one, let me see if there's anything. Oh, here's the thing. Sometimes on these, they don't ask you to find surface area and volume. Like, do you notice on the second page, the top 6, you only have to find surface area, and the bottom 3, you only have to find volume. So in our examples, we found both all the time, but sometimes you don't have to do both. Then if you look at this page, same thing. 4 through 6, you're only finding surface area. 7 through 9, you're finding volume. And then when we get to that last page, then you're finding both for numbers 3 through 5. So read the directions so you know what you have to find. Okay? And then I'll try to find a key for that so you guys have the answers for that. Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Alrighty.